Knowing that the two will die there if things stay as they are, Kai asks Manso to leave without him. After all, Manso would do the same if it were the other way around. Saddened by the harsh reality, the ally promises to tear the vines off the boy's tomb, then runs off. Finally, when Manso takes off running, Kai heads back into the eye of the storm, where his comrades are fleeing and dying at the hands of rival semi-humans. Meanwhile, the young man refuses to die, reminding himself of this as often as necessary while memories of his life flash before his eyes. Soon, he stops when he senses the presence of his pursuer and demands that he stop hiding and face him. As a last resort, the human attempts to cast magic from his finger, but nothing happens. Suddenly, a machete flies towards the boy, slicing through his shoulder and causing faint sparks to fly from his index finger. The orc who threw the machete charges at the boy and grabs his neck tightly. Yet Kai continues to refuse to die, not wanting his spiritual energy to be extinguished in this place. With that, the boy's chest begins to burn so intensely that it ignites slightly stronger sparks on his finger. Kai points his finger at the enemy and orders fire magic to appear, and that's exactly what happens. A layer of flames spits out into the face of the giant pig with such intensity that it forces the brute to release the human. In the end, the orc tries to rejoin the fight but succumbs to his injuries and falls. Watching what happened, still amazed, Kai feels proud of himself, although he can't control the fire still covering his hand and burning his body. To make matters worse, he collapses to the ground without knowing why. And now a chill begins to take over his body, as if his life is being drained by having used too much spiritual energy. This makes Kai think he might die right there. But since he managed to ignite the fire, he imagines he might also be able to extinguish what remains on his finger, perhaps with water. Moreover, this reminds him that spiritual energy flows like water, and that it's necessary to close the imaginary gate to stem the flow. As if that weren't enough, the orc manages to get up and goes after the boy. Faced with this life or death pressure, Kai closes the gates of his mind and stops the flow of water that sustains the flame on his finger. However, still weak, the boy is carried by the pig without being able to react. Even though he can barely see due to his injuries, the orc takes his victim to a cliff to kill him as he deserves. But since he was going to die anyway, Kai takes a final breath and slashes the belly of his adversary with his knife. In this motion, both of them fall off the cliff and plunge into the water waiting below. Even weakened, the young man emerges from the water alive and sees his seemingly dead enemy beside him.